What's going on, guys? This is John Zakari, and finally, the big Nintendo Switch presentation has come and gone. And now we know that the Switch drops in less than 2 months. March 3rd is the release date. Awesome. We got a lot of new info during this hour-long presentation, and I'll say it was a bit of a roller coaster. So I think the best way to go through and break it down is just to power right through it from start to finish. I do want to say before I start that I'm recording this before the Nintendo Treehouse presentation that's going on later today, so please don't crucify me for not acknowledging any information that's revealed during that event, because as of right now, I don't know it. If this was indeed a roller coaster-like experience, then the opening of this show was like the waiting in line part. Holy shit, was this slow and boring. Now I get that we have to get through some of the housekeeping things right off the bat, and we all wanted to know things like the release date and the price. $300, I think, is a nice sweet spot, by the way. $250, I think, would have made it seem kind of cheap for a new console, and the current gen stuff is sitting right around that $300 range. The battery life is about what I expected. 2.5 to 6 hours is a pretty broad range, but I'm assuming a game like Breath of the Wild is going to be closer to the 3-hour mark, where the 6-hour range of things will probably be reserved for NES and Super Nintendo Virtual Console type games. This info was good, but stuff like the Joy-Con controller showcases went way too long without much substance in my opinion. Like, I don't even understand half of what happened there with the whole, holding the glass of ice thing, and then the controllers, unlock the power of the cosmos or something like that. It was a bit much. Maybe these are cool features and all, but I don't understand their in-game functions. Show me an example of why this is cool. Obviously, I'm not going to be playing a game where I shake a glass of ice. If this is cool, then show it doing something cool, especially if you want to justify the Joy-Con's $80 price tag. Wait, that doesn't include the grip? That's another $30? What the? Yeah, it looks like I might need to start filing another mortgage on my house if I plan to play some multiplayer on the Switch. Now, something I would have preferred them spend more time on was talking about the new paid online services. Yes, that's right, Nintendo is joining the ranks of Microsoft and Sony with a subscription-based online service. And I'm not joking. Now, I have to admit, the lack of quality online play was one of, if not my biggest issue with the Wii U. A lot of games that could have benefited from online play didn't have it, and in many of the ones that did, it sucked. So offering up a paid online service means Nintendo really has to go hard in making some quality experiences here, or no one is going to buy it. And with that said, if I'm paying just to play online now, I, as well as many others, are going to be way more critical of our online play. Back when Nintendo was the console with the free online play, we could be like, oh, the online sucks, but at least it's free, right? Well, no more. To soften up the deal a bit though, Nintendo is offering up a free games deal sort of similar to Microsoft and Sony. The way I read it, well, first here's what I read. Subscribers will get to download and play a Nintendo Entertainment System NES or Super Nintendo Entertainment System Super NES game with newly added online play for free for a month. Now, the way I interpret this is that you have some sort of choice, maybe, in terms of the games you get, which would be nice, but what concerns me is the final line. And someone in the comments can clarify if this has been explained better elsewhere, but play for free for a month grammatically makes it sound like you only get to play the game for a month, and then it's taken away from you. If that's the case, this aspect is kinda gonna suck. I hope it's just poor writing. Another aspect that has me concerned is this partying up with your friends and voice chatting over a smartphone app deal. Again, this is something we didn't see, but what? I hope they're not telling me I need my phone to play with my friends online, especially if I need this app when the thing is docked. If this is more of a on-the-go centered aspect, fine. But I am not sitting there with my friends essentially on the phone to play games while I'm sitting on the couch at home. If you're going to charge me for online play, your system better be able to do voice chat and partying up just like my original Xbox from 2001. And this opening, in my opinion, got worse as we moved into the first set of games. Whoever thought it was a good idea to open your software portion of this presentation with 1-2 switch should be fired. I don't care who it is, they should be fired. These tech demo games are so boring, and this was no exception. And this should totally be a pack-in game, come on. But nope, it's just its own thing. Yeah, bring your Switch to parties, I guess, and bust this out to get the good times going. Yeah, more like have everyone stare at you wondering who brought the freak. This was horrible. The ARMS game was not nearly as bad, but still far from anything that's going to move systems or get people generally excited. This could very well be an awesome fighting game with some deep mechanics, but to me, it seemed like a game that would have been impressive in the days of the Wii. Not so much today. Now, if you've stuck around this long and haven't written out your salty fanboy comment and left yet, this is where things got better. Splatoon 2, the sequel to the winner of tons of multiplayer game awards in 2015, is coming to the Switch. Not until summer, but that's fine. At least it's coming and it's on the near horizon. And apparently, this time with voice chat. Only with Nintendo could I get hype when multiplayer shooters offer voice chat. I will say the game looked a hell of a lot like Splatoon 1, but it doesn't really matter. Splatoon needed to be on the Switch, especially after they announced the whole subscription thing. My first thought was they better get Splatoon on here and fast. Despite the incredibly awkward squid scientist man dabbing or whatever the hell it was he was doing all over the place, this is where Nintendo started hitting the gas on this presentation. And that was followed up by my highlight of the show, in my opinion, what I would have opened the software section up with. And that's Mario Odyssey. Damn, does that game look awesome. Harkening back to the Mario 64 and Sunshine sandbox type worlds, Mario's parkouring all over this major city. Granted, those patrons, the realistic humans, whose decision was that? Totally out of place, I don't get it. But overall, great. This is a game that will move some serious hardware and totally sold me on the system as a whole within the first few seconds. I need to play that game. Again though, not a launch title. In fact, we won't see the next Mario until next holiday. Then we got a montage of sorts of other titles in the works, a lot of JRPG stuff, Dragon Quest X and 11, Shin Megami Tensei, a new Square Enix game, and the like, which were sort of all highlighted by the fact that the console is going to be region-free. I certainly popped for that, as it always sucks trying to find a way to get around region-locked titles, and I've never really understood it. Just let anyone who wants to play it, play it. Hopefully with the systems being region-free, many Japanese developers will consider putting English text and subtitle options in their games if they weren't already planning on it. Because yeah, I mean, if you haven't played many Japanese-only games, you'd be surprised at how many of them are already totally English-friendly. The big surprise for me here was Xenoblade 2. Loved Xenoblade Chronicles, and X was possibly my game of the year in 2015. Nothing screams play on the go like these 100-hour RPG adventures. So I think this will be a great addition to any trip. And I'm just picking and choosing here. There was a ton of cool teases during this section, like Fire Emblem Warriors. I love Fire Emblem and wouldn't mind mowing down hundreds of enemies as Chrom in the Musou style. But we didn't really see anything of that game, and as well as a lot of these other games, they were just teases. And that kind of leads me to my main issue with the presentation, and that's what are we playing on day one? Now of course the presentation ended with the big Zelda reveal, and we know that will easily be one of the biggest releases of the year, and it will be there on launch day. I'm not trying to discount Zelda or anything, but After Mario Odyssey was revealed to be a holiday game, I knew Zelda had to be there on day one. But I was expecting a little more in terms of the early releases. Now this could be quelled by giving me a list of what will actually be there on launch day, as I honestly have no clue because of all this launch window garbage we get nowadays. But from what I saw here, it doesn't seem like much. I could have used one more big release. Personally, I was expecting that rumored Pokemon Stars to fill this void. Pokemon is a series I've long wished to have on a home console, and would have been extremely excited to see the game pop up on screen and get like a wipe transition to unveil the HD visuals. That would have put my excitement over the edge. So overall, I thought this presentation was fine. It didn't blow me away by any means, but it also didn't leave me scratching my head like the original Wii U reveal did. As light begins to shine on more of my concerns like the actual launch lineup and the online service details, I'll have a much clearer opinion about the system as a whole. As a Nintendo fanboy, obviously I've already pre-ordered it, but I don't think there's any reason for the casual player to rush out and do the same. We'll get a better understanding of the system in the weeks leading up to launch, and certainly post-launch. And it seems like most of the heavy hitters, sans Breath of the Wild, aren't coming until further down the road. I'm sure when games like Splatoon 2 and Mario Odyssey hit, they'll each be getting their own special edition Switch bundle, so if you'd like to wait and see how things play out, you'll probably only have more and more purchase options. And with that, this video's a wrap. Let me know your thoughts on the Nintendo Switch presentation in the comments. As always, if you enjoyed the video, subscribe to my channel now, and you can say you were a subscriber before it was cool. I'm John Zakari, and thanks for watching.